And we're live. Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to Monday Morning Check-in. I hope you are all well. Make sure to say hi when you come in and let me know how you are traveling at this time. So if this is your first Monday morning check-in or your first time on this channel, welcome. My name's Sabina. I'm happy to have you. If you're a regular, I'm always happy that you are coming back and that the content resonates with you. I love the community that really I suppose, creating but a part of on here and on Instagram. Really a beautiful community that is always respectful and always happy to be reminded of your power. And that's the part that gets me very excited, that at this point in time, when so many things would like to, so many systems and structures and even whole groups, I suppose, would love for you to forget about your power and to continue to feel like you don't have any. I'm really glad that you're here and that you are happy to be reminded of yours and really ready to be living in yours and to remind yourself of it at every opportunity. So that's very exciting, because that allows us to create the biggest amount of change, not only in our own lives individually, but then in the role that we play in the collective, which is very exciting. So if this is your first Monday morning check-in, these are really just to say hi, how are you, how are you going, get a feel of the energy at the moment, just connect with you. Any questions that you have, pop them in the chat at any point in time throughout the live. And sometimes I come with a topic pre-prepared to talk about. And today I'm going to talk about manifesting versus, maybe not so much versus allowing, manifesting and allowing. I want to talk about the differences. And it could be, well, so I feel like manifesting and allowing are certainly on a spectrum, and there's a lot of similarities with them, and then there's some differences, and I just want to talk about the similarities and the differences. It's a bit of a loaded topic. It can definitely trigger people. There is no doubt about that. I was saying last week, which is where some questions were coming up about it, and I said that I was going to really talk about it in more detail today, that I wrote about it in my book, Set the Tone, and it even triggered my editor. So throughout the whole section, there was a lot of red marks and I don't understand this, and what do you mean by this, and I think you should clarify this. And she admitted at the end of it that it was really triggering her. Hi, Aurora. Hi, Haruka. Lovely to have you both here. So why does me now calling into question, and I'm sure I'm not the only person, but why does somebody calling into question manifesting now trigger people? Well, because we have been taught, not in every realm, that's for sure, but in a more mainstream way. And I think that's the problem with a lot of spiritual concepts, a lot of bigger, what do I mean by spiritual? I mean bigger picture. A lot of bigger picture concepts, a lot of reminding you of who you are, of your power, is either inverted, so to actually keep you from it, it's taught you in an upside down way. It's taught to you in a way that's not actually really reminding you of your power. Hi, Jen. Hi, Angela. It can be inverted, or B, it's kind of dumbed down so much that it's lost its essence, right? A little bit like yoga, in the sense of, are you doing yoga to look good in your Lululemon, to look good on the mat? Are you doing yoga poses for Instagram? Are you doing yoga so that you can have like the thinnest body you possibly can, or a really toned body? Are you losing the spiritual aspect of the practice? And that is, I feel like manifesting really falls into that very well and very powerfully. So we have been taught, in a sense, that manifesting is what we do when we are powerful, that it's how we create our world. Here's the aspects of it that I don't love. It's the focus on the detail. So, because I have been studying and mastering ego for so many years now, and when I say mastering ego, I do not mean that I do not have one. I do not mean that I pretend I do not have one. And I do not mean that I even try and get rid of mine. When I say mastery of the ego, I mean that I am able to separate out from it. I am able to observe it, and I am able to actually now use it as part of my guidance system. Here's my thing with manifesting, and the minute when I started studying kinesiology in 2010, I think it was, we get taught to have very specific goals. They're called SMART goals. I don't remember exactly what each letter stands for. I know it's sort of small, measurable, achievable, time stamped something goals, right? And I went along with that when I was taught it. And somebody would come to a session and you would say, okay, well, let's turn your goal into a SMART goal. Let's turn your goal into something very specific, very measurable, and you decide when you want to achieve it. Pretty quickly, I moved beyond that, because pretty quickly I started to think, I think this is keeping people small. I think this is keeping people stuck in the past. I think that when we focus on the detail, now I understand that when we focus on the detail, we're in the realm of the ego. So the minute we want it really detailed, we are really in that control freak mode, and our inner control freak is our ego. So our ego goes, I love this. I love this manifesting thing. Get me a vision board. Get me a manifesting journal. Get me something where I can focus on the exact detail. I am going to obsess with the what, the when, the how, the why. When's it going to arrive? What's it going to look like? How much money am I going to make? How many clients am I going to have a week? When am I going to meet my, soulmate? I mean, I can't not do that in inverted commas. No, I'm sorry. When am I going to meet the one? As though there was a one. And I'm going to decide. I'm going to meet this person next Tuesday at 4:00 when I'm walking through this park. This is what this person's going. I'm going to say he, because I don't think men do this shit. This is the color of his hair. This is the height he's going to have, and all this teaching about be more and more specific, be more and more specific, because you're powerful and you create it. Yes, you are. But when you create it within every single minute detail, what you are doing is accessing your ego, and your ego can only use the past to determine the future. So only what you can imagine, and only based on your own belief systems, because you're not going to be able to go beyond it, will you create the thing. So then what happens is, hi Fiona, beautiful. So then what happens is, I'm going to talk about two examples. I'm going to talk about the example of creating the perfect manifesting the perfect partner. Here's what happens. A lot of women will do this. They feel connected to a particular man, and men, you probably do this too. I am not making this video just for women. Please do not feel it's just for women, but I feel like with this example, women do it more. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know if there's any men here. In what way do men do this? Because I would love to know, because it's always good to have examples. But just stick with me on this one. And if this doesn't apply to you as a man, then just think of where you are doing this. So a woman will meet a guy that she likes, and then she'll decide, I'm going to manifest a relationship between the two of us, or she's already with a guy in a relationship and she decides, I'm going to manifest a marriage. I'm going to manifest our children. I'm going to pick their names. I'm going to decide what school they're going to go to. I am going to manifest our house. I'm going to manifest our cars, our holidays, our friends. I'm going to manifest the friends of the children I have not yet had, who I've already named, who I've already decided what hair color they're going to have, who I've already decided what school they're going to go to. Then I'm going to manifest and create and envision exactly how I'm going to spend my days, how we're going to spend our days, the holidays we're going to go on. I'm going to get by myself a cork board. I'm going to cut pictures out of a magazine and I'm going to stick them on the board. And I'm going to go, that is what I'm manifesting. And then it doesn't happen. And then she decides, I mustn't be very powerful. Why can't I manifest this? He mustn't love me. I mustn't, maybe I'm not the one. Maybe I'm not thin enough. Maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe I'm not pretty enough. Maybe da 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 da, and goes into a world. Now, that whole process is a beautiful example of the ego through and through. Your higher self, your right mind, any aspect of you that has even an iota of connection to wisdom is not doing this process, let me assure you. Because at no point in time are you allowing any actual wisdom to come in. So, on the one hand, you're shooting desires off into the universe saying, I want a relationship that is, that is loving and respectful and it's equal and it's, whatever. Fill that in. I want a relationship that is blank. Fill that in. And then you have the thing before you that doesn't meet any of that. Quite often, it does not meet any of those things. Quite often, you'll meet someone who looks good to you, you like the look of them, but they actually, and you don't know this, but they actually do not meet the things on your list that you're shooting off into the universe. So, on the one hand, they are not a match to you. They are not a match to your energetics. They are not a match to your actual values. But your ego says, I like the look of him. If I was powerful enough, I could create this. I've been told I can manifest. I've been told I'm a powerful being. I am going to manifest our relationship, and goes to work doing that in a very detailed way. But what ego does is it just repeats patterns. So, most likely, that man is either never going to be with you because he actually does not meet the energetics of what you actually desire, or you will get into that relationship and it won't feel the way you want it to, and it won't actually look like the way you want it to, or you will have those children and then nothing looks the way you wanted it to, and nothing feels the way you wanted it to, because what you're actually doing is rolling along in a subconscious cycle of patterns where ego goes, I like that. I want it. I like that car. I want that car. I like that man. I want that man. This is ego going through. And in my book, I describe it like a kid in a lolly aisle going, I want this one. I want this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. And in the end, that kid is just sitting in the center of the aisle, feeling sick with a whole heap of wrappers around them, going, how come I don't feel the way I want to feel? How come life does not look the way it is meant to look? How come I'm having all this good stuff, got the stuff, all the wrappers are there to show me all the stuff I've had, but none of this stuff feels the way I want it to feel? Because, ladies and gentlemen, that is manifesting. The whole process of manifesting is aimed at your ego. It is a collective ego construct that may or may not be being manipulated in an inversion for sure, targeted at your ego to be very specific, very detailed, to be fully in control of it, to decide what it's going to look like, when it's going to come, and how it's going to feel. And what happens while you're busily focusing on that, while you're busily being a complete and utter minute detail control freak of your whole entire life, because you've been told you're powerful and this is the way you create the life you want, you are actually getting in your own way and feeling more and more powerless, because all the guy, the thing, and all the things, you either go, I can't get them and I don't know why I can't get them. Why can't I get them? or you get them and you go, I don't know why they don't feel the way I wanted them to feel. I have no idea what is going on. What is going on is you are either attracting another pattern because you have not yet played it out to completion. You have not yet woken up to that pattern. And so that partner or that relationship or that experience, that job, that whatever is actually exactly what it's meant to be because you've gone, I want you, but you haven't realized that you cannot actually go outside the pattern with that person. Although sometimes you can for sure, but you have because you've been creating from your ego, and your ego lives in the past and uses all of the past stuff. Remember, ego just goes, let me bring all of that and walk through it again. Let me bring all of that and walk through it again. That is manifesting. And if you have a vision board up right now, go and have a look at how specific it is, because guaranteed that is most likely most people's vision board. I'm going to say again, women, I don't know that men vision board. I'd love to know, again, men, if you're watching live or if you're watching the replay, please pop in the comments because I would really love to know, where does this show up for men? Are men vision boarding in a way? Are they being told, to do this as well? Are they being encouraged? Because I certainly see it. I certainly see women being encouraged to do this. Go to your vision board, and whatever is on there is a really good insight into your ego and what your ego thinks will give it value and worth. What your ego thinks will make you feel better about yourself. It is not necessarily any reality or aspect that will make you feel better about yourself. Now, I'm going to share with you an example about how I came to live in this house, because it is the perfect example of allowing, okay, of how allowing is different to manifesting. So when we decided that we wanted to move up here to the mountains from where we were, there's aspects of this mountain that we knew. Now, I share this story in my book. You might have read it. You might know it, but I want to remind you of it, even if you've heard it before, because it's a really good example of the difference. We knew some towns on the mountain. And so, of course, that is where we were looking. That is where I wanted to live. I had like kind of three. Men don't tend to have that. Men go, what do I care? Me, I was like, right, these are my three places where I want to live. And the more we looked, the more it was out of our price range. We'd go up, we'd go up, we'd go up. It was still out of our price. It was still not right. We just couldn't. So then I started to really widen where I was looking, but I actually just focused on my kind of non-negotiables. I started to focus on, I want green. I want a place that feels, peaceful and serene. I started to focus on how I wanted to feel in the space. I started to focus on, and then I just always finished it off with whatever place is perfect for us. I allow perfection to unfold. I allow it to unfold perfectly. I allow the perfect place to come into, my awareness. I allow us, I just allow it to unfold perfectly. I allow the perfect place to come into my awareness. And the perfect place for me will be green, surrounded by trees. It'll be, perfect for our pooch. It'll be whatever that is for you. I just really let the detail go, and I focused on my non-negotiables, which were really just a few. I didn't focus on the detail. And then suddenly, when we expanded where we were looking, this one house popped into, and really what it did was it fell into our price range. This one house kind of came up in our search. It was in a town we had heard of it, but we didn't know where it was. We went and we had a look. We loved the feel of it immediately. It most definitely was not what I would have put on a vision board. It was much smaller. It just was not the era of house I was looking for. It wasn't the kind of quintessential kind of mountain hills house I was looking for. There was so many aspects of it that I would never have had on a list. There was aspects I wouldn't have had on the list because I didn't know about life in the mountains. I didn't know how good it was to have like a paved road and not have a dirt road. I didn't know how good it was to like have a footpath, and how many streets in the hills do not have a footpath, and you literally cannot even walk outside your front door, walk your dog up the street because the roads are too windy and too narrow and no path. All of these things I was not aware of. Even the slope of the road and how it will never, the slope of the land and how it will never flood. I had no idea. And I have had so many people come here that live in the hills and go, oh my God, what a great property you have here. And we did not know. We had no idea. So once I saw it and we both fell in love with it and we put our offer in, what I then did was I walked down the walking track. Yes, there is a walking track next to the house. I mean, for a hiker, like it just does not get better than that. I walked down the walking track next to the house. I found a tree that I felt really kind of drawn to. I put my hands on the tree and I said, please send the message out to all the other trees that if this is meant to be our house, that it will come to us with ease. And here we are. It was the only house we put an offer in on. So I want you to start to see the difference between that manifesting where it's detail, 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 where we might have walked in and gone, no, that we wouldn't have even looked at it. We would have gone, I don't know the area, I don't know the suburb, that's not a big enough house, that's not da 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 da, and we would have crossed it off the list. And we would have missed out on the perfect house. And I just want you to know when you are manifesting instead of allowing. So let me see what people are putting here. Okay, I don't know why I have made a comment that I have not made. Yeah, so that's a bit weird. Okay, so where it has written that I've written good topic, I didn't write that. But it's got my picture there. So not sure what's going on there. Anyway, so this is the difference. This is the difference between the two. You are still creating. You are not just allowing life to, you're not just allowing yourself to be led. You're not just allowing whatever. You know, people can get caught up with that, with the allowing, like as though whatever. Well, what does allowing just mean? I just say, whatever, bring it to me, I don't care. No. Allowing is being very conscious and being very much in the responsibility of your power. Mr. Cookson wrote that. Okay, well, Mr. Cookson, Mr. Cookson, you're actually commenting as me and you're freaking me out. So just, you know, yeah, you can write something. You can just might be mindful of what you write. Okay, so you in allowing, what you're doing is you are still focused on what you're drawn to. You are still checking with your desires. You still are creating consciously the life that you wish to live. You can still have fun with it. It can still be playful. You can still want that car and then allow that car to come to you. You can still all of that. This isn't about living a monastic life. It's not about living in a cave and going, I have to be spiritual. We live in a material world. We live in a 3D world on a material plane. The material is here for you to have fun with. It is here for you to kind of create and play with and expand and all of those things. What I'm saying is, it's good for you to be aware that you are very powerful. It's good for you to be reminded that we are the creator beings, and we actually can create so much more than what we are aware of. Like we can literally, we literally can create all of it, right? At the peak, we literally create all of it. But what I feel manifesting does is it kind of actually tones you down, and it actually keeps you stuck, and it keeps you stuck in detail, and it keeps you like like wanting around going, I want that, I want that, I want that. And you're so caught up in that and the appearance of things and the detail of things that you actually, A, stay stuck in patterns, keep repeating the past, are actually manifesting and creating from your ego, so from the least evolved part of you, and really keeping yourself stuck in that material realm instead of allowing, just start to think of allowing as just becoming more and more expansive. And that does not mean restricting yourself in anything that you desire, but it means being like connected to the bigger picture, understanding about um, allowing perfection to unfold. So you don't think about exactly when you want it to come and exactly how many clients you want to have and exactly how much money you want to make and all of that. So does that mean you just say, well, oh, well, whatever, I don't care? No, it means that you language yourself around, you focus on the expansion in all areas of your life, you focus on the abundance in all areas of your life, and you just say, I allow myself to receive in the perfect way, at the perfect time, in the perfect order. I allow perfection to unfold. Now, that might be a hard one for you if you get triggered by the word perfect, okay? That could be a difficult one for you because you go, oh, perfect. Does that mean I have to be perfect? No. The perfection does not come from you. You do not create the perfection. The perfection comes through you. Have a think about a woman who's pregnant and then she gives birth to this perfect baby, regardless of what this baby's like for her, it's perfect. Have a think about how when you look back at your life, how often can you then think that unfolded perfectly? Thank God that happened that way. And that could happen more and more if we get out of the way. If you get out of the way and stop controlling from the perspective of ego. Okay. Oh, hey, Melinda. Jen, last year I put it out there that I wanted to find the property that is right for us. I only focused on the size of the land and that it would be perfect for us and our animals. And it for sure is, Jen. I mean, I've seen pictures of it. It was glorious. So exactly. So see how you still create your desires. You still create what you want. You're still tuned in and tapped into, I create my life. This is not in any way a passive process, but what you focus on, and it's not the constant repeating. Constantly repeating it doesn't make it powerful. It actually shows you how not powerful we think we are. It shows you how we think that, like when you're so stuck in the constant repeating, and then you go, oh, but it didn't show up because it didn't look that way. How many times have you missed the exact perfect thing for you because it turned up in a way you didn't expect it to turn up? And that will be with partners, that will be with money, that will be with, when you're so focused on money can only turn up in this way. What happens if it turns up in many different ways and you're actually not appreciating what is flowing to you? It is about allowing things to come to you by just shifting the focus ever so slightly and relaxing your hands into an open position. Think about manifesting is like this, right? Manifesting is like that. Your hands are closed with all the detail. You've already got it. You're already like, and there's a gap like this of where it can cut. It has to fit into a slot. Only when it perfectly matches that does it fit into that slot. Whereas allowing, I really feel like allowing is like the grown up version of manifesting. It's like what we can now grow up into individually and as a humanity, where we open our hands, and yet it doesn't make us any less powerful. And if we really tapped into our full power, I mean, we would be creating loaves and fishes, and we would be turning water into wine, and we would be levitating, and we would be walking on water, and we would be teleporting, and we would be doing all sorts of things. So please know that allowing is not it's not like a completely passive process, but allowing is you tapping into your wiser self, your higher self. Allowing is you in connection with source, shooting off desires and being open to receiving in however they arrive, because they are a match to what your values are, what your intentions are. They are a match to your energetics. It's using your energetics to know, okay, it's my energetics that draw to me what I want, not what I desperately write 15,000 times in a journal or what I pin onto a cork board. Okay, so any questions? Does that make sense? Is this resonating? And if there's any men on here, Mr. Cookson, how do men do this? Do they do it in a particular way? Where I don't think men kind of manifest relationships like this, but what is it that they can get very specific and focused on? I don't want to repeat the same mistake. So remember, I think I did talk about that a mistake is a mistake. A mistake is a mistake. The only mistake that you can ever have is when your perception about something is off. If your perception about something is, say, being used against yourself, being used to beat yourself up, or if your perception about something is being used as though it was being done to you on purpose, then that is a mistake. And a mistake is an opportunity to shift in perception. So have a look back through your life, get a journal out, get a pen out, have a look back through your life, really focus on, is there any times in my life where I feel like something was a mistake? Write it down, write down what it was, have a look at it and say, where have I mistaken this? Where is my perception of this needing a retake, needing a shift? Where do I need to take my perception of this to, right? And then see how you feel about it once you've shifted that. We purchased a new family home 6 years ago, but it was nothing like I imagined. It just fell into our lap, but it hasn't worked out and we are looking at moving again. Yeah, so here's the thing. It's not all about ease and flow and roses, because that's not life. And there are times, just like relationships, they're always still the right one. There is no relationship you've ever had that was not the right one, because it came for a particular purpose, either to show you a pattern that you're stuck in, or to show you about your own energetics, or to bring somebody to you where both of you are out of alignment, but together you have the opportunity to come into alignment. So even with that property, although you're saying it wasn't right, I mean, the house before that I lived in, which was Mr. Cookson's house, he loved it. That had a lot of great things about it, but it wasn't the right property for me either. It's the right property for someone else. But my time there, which I think was like 6 years or something, was still valuable. It still served a purpose. I wasn't there by accident or by mistake, but it wasn't the property for me. But living there let me know what is the property for me, and shot off all these desires of what, okay, this is kind of partially what I want, but not fully what I want. And sometimes where we are and where we want to get to is too many steps to do in one, for sure. Sometimes where you are and where you want to get to, you are not a match to that. So then you need to start doing the shifting in yourself. It's not the property that's not correct, or the partner that's not correct, or any of those things, or the job. It's that you are learning from the situation that you are in, where your energetics need to shift, where your intentions need to shift, where your beliefs need to shift on what you're able to receive. I mean, that's the whole big chunk of my book, because a big part of what keeps us from receiving what we wish to receive is the beliefs that are standing in the way. Not just the belief of, are you able to receive it, but even the beliefs of how life works, the beliefs of that we've been programmed with. So they all can stand in our way. So any other questions about manifesting and allowing? Does this feel good to you? Does it feel great? Does this resonate with you? Does it make you feel excited? How do you feel about this whole concept? And is there any questions that you have about anything that I've said? Any cards? General on the topic of manifesting and allowing from this deck, just one. Okay. Just give you a chance to fill in. Mr. Cookson's gone quiet now. Actually, he's probably left where he was. That was a bit weird. That was a bit like, what? How is my account commenting when I am not commenting? Okay, the crowning. This has come up before. I don't know if you can see that with this light. This is from the Rose Oracle deck, Rebecca Campbell, and this card is called the crowning. It's extraordinary, the visual. Let me know if you can see that. Because on this side, it's not really, it's a bit too bright. And what it says is initiation, thresholds, birth, rebirth, and a seat at the table. Oh my God, I love that so much. Manifesting is like the crumbs, like the starting point. It's like the first half a rung of you being in your power. I love this, a seat at the table, right? A seat at the table. Allowing is a seat at the table. Allowing is where you sit at a table with your right mind, with your higher self, with whatever, with source, with God, whatever it is that you, whatever label and word you use for the energy of all there is. You're sitting at a table with that and you're saying, in my current state, in this current state of awareness, there is so much I do not know and there is so much that I do not remember. What I do know is that I am a powerful creator being and that I can create anything that I desire. What I wish to create, what I wish to experience is this. Put it on the table. And then leave it in the hands of everybody at that table, knowing that you're always at that table and you never really leave your seat. You're always still at that table. Leave it on the table and say, I allow this to unfold in the perfect way at the perfect time. I allow this to come to me in the most perfect way. And I am excited for its arrival. And then what you do is you choose steps that bring you into energetic alignment with what you have requested. So you've requested a loving partner, so you're constantly being conscious of taking energetic steps into being a loving partner to yourself, into being, into the regard you show yourself, into the kindness you show yourself, into the all of that you expect and want from another human being. You show it to yourself and you show it to the people around you, and you are in gratitude and acknowledgement when you see it, right? When you see it, when you have it from friends, when you have it from family members, and when you see it, right? You do not want something but then get shitty when you see it in other people because you think they don't really deserve it, or because it triggers you when you see what you want in others. That is probably one of the biggest things that stands in your way. And what was the other thing I was going to say about the seat at the table? I can't think of it. Let me know how the seat at the table analogy makes you feel, and I will see whether I can remember what I was going to say. Any other cards? Yes, one from here. Okay. Two more. This one and this one. This one and this one. Okay. Any questions? And before we go, how are you? How are you feeling? And what tone are you going to set for this week? What tone are you going to set for this week? And is there any men in the house besides you, Mr. Cookson? Okay. Be brave and honest. Be brave and honest. if you do have a vision board, if you do have a manifesting journal that you write in and it works for you and you love it and it resonates fully, ignore everything I've said and live happily ever after. If some of what I've said resonates and you think, go to it and be brave and honest when you look at it. Are these things genuinely what my heart desires, or are these things what I think will allow me to feel differently to how I currently feel about myself? Do I think, do I believe that these things are what I'm meant to want? What will bring me happiness? What will make me feel worthy? And then let's see what the third card is, because that's what that card was wanting us to know. And then, okay. One, okay. And the book, okay. Okay, the card is improving health, and it is from the Angel Answers, Bradley Valentine. And I'm just going to, because there's a message from the book for us. Now, I'm definitely feeling some anxiety coming from some of you about, oh shit, have I been doing this wrong this whole entire time? Okay, there's no doing anything wrong, because remember, there's no mistake. There is a mistake. So, have you been doing anything wrong? No. What you may not have been doing is the most efficient thing, the most effective thing, the most powerful thing to actually get you feeling and creating in the way you wish to. And that's very different to, have I been doing this wrong? Because you most likely have been manifesting, and that could be the issue. So it's not about you doing anything wrong. It's about, okay, so now that I know more about this, does it still resonate with me? It's no different than anything else in your life, where once you know more about it, does it still resonate with you? If yes, great, go for it. If no, okay, so then let me begin to shift into what actually feels more powerful. And that is just a process of growth. That is just a process of expansion. To not do that just means we stay stuck in something, because, this is the thing that's happening right now. People are so invested in what all they've done and all they've gone along with it. Well, I'm not leaving it now, I'm invested. Don't let manifesting be that for you. Don't go, well, I've invested in this process and I've done workshops and I've read books and I've whatever, and I am now not going to let it go. Because that is not you resonating with it. Ooh, just open your hand and go, okay, if I was to look at doing this in a way that resonates more, what would that look like? What would that feel like? Watch this recording over and see how I've explained it. See some of the wording. Really focus on having a seat at the table. Look at the way you have been doing it. Be brave and honest. And what are you actually wanting to achieve? What are you actually wanting to create into your life? And Jen, how powerful do you feel having created that property? How powerful do you feel, even though actually more so than with the whole detail of it? So, like, let me know. I'd love to know. Okay, improving health. Okay, this is the message for us with this card. The angels want you to know that the health of the person you asked about is going to improve. You can request the assistance of Archangel Raphael and your guardian angels to speed along the recovery. That's actually for all of us. And the card is saying that either it's the health of ourselves, or it's the health of humanity, or it's the health of the planet, or it's the health of a situation. Whatever is relevant for you, the response is the same. The angels want you to know that the health of the person you asked about is going to improve. You can request the assistance of Archangel Raphael and your guardian angels to speed along the recovery. Okay, anything else card-wise? No. So any questions? How are you feeling about that? I'm so happy to have you all join me today. I'm loving that I didn't visualize it to perfection. I just believed that what was right for us would present itself. Beautiful. And you know, how powerful, because now you're actually like working, like, think about how powerful that is and what you can hold when you're doing that process, as opposed to like all the minute detail and the detail and the detail and the detail. And Jen, do you feel like you would have missed that property if you would have really focused on the detail, because maybe it wasn't exactly what you thought you were looking for, like initially or previously? Like, I definitely wouldn't have come here and looked at this one. I would have gone, it's on the wrong side of the mountain. And yet the side of the mountain I wanted to be on, it's beautiful, very touristy, very touristy. We get the best of both worlds here. This is not a touristy town. We have quiet weekends, and yet we can drive up if we want to. And it's literally where I thought was my ideal place is a 7-minute drive away. And I had no idea they were that close. Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. All right. Any questions, any thoughts, anything you want to share? What was your aha from today? What are you taking away with you? What are you setting the tone for the week? Hi, Sue. This reminds me to stop getting caught in the details. Yes, because there's a saying that says the devil's in the details. I don't personally believe in the devil. For me, I say ego's in the details. Ego's in the details, and it loves it. It goes, oh my God, let's sit and spend, like, what color hair will this perfect man have? And will he wear, like, how tall will he be? And you get encouraged to do this. I mean, there's whole like workshops, and there's whole books have been written on. Look, I'm not saying anything about these people other than what I'm saying is I think that it is a process created for ego, designed for ego, and it keeps us manipulated in a particular realm that you may be ready to break out of. And you may be ready to kind of get far more expansive and far more soaring and just allow it to come to you perfectly. Okay, so imagine this. Imagine that you had a stylist, right? You had a stylist who kind of like you trust implicitly. And sometimes you might go, you know what, I don't know exactly what's going to suit me. I think I'm looking for this. So let's say there's a special event and you want to look fabulous. Like, you want to have something different with your hair. You want to have an outfit you maybe don't normally wear, but you want to look fabulous. And so you go looking for it, and you just go, okay, it's like this. It's like this. This is the outfit I'm looking for. And you go looking for all the outfits and you don't find it. Imagine if you were saying, okay, I'm going to find it at 3 p.m. tomorrow at this shop. And then you go in and you go, it's not there. Oh my God, I mustn't be very powerful. I'm not manifesting it. Do I not want it enough? Like, have I not obsessed about it enough? Like, what's standing in the way? Nothing's standing in the way, other than that shop may not be for you, that you're just assuming that from the past because you found things in that shop before that you loved. But imagine there's like a stylist and you just go, okay, this is the brief. This is the brief. Bring me the outfit. And you let them style you. Because, of course, you still get to try it on and go, yep, it's right, or no, it's not right. This is not a passive process. This is not you just being a victim to life. This is not you going, oh, I'll just allow myself to like receive whatever. No, you allow kind of the universal stylist. You put the brief out. You go, this is the brief. This is how I want to feel in my house. This is what I want to have access to. This is blah, 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 whatever. This is how I want to feel in my relationship. This is what I want us both to be doing, right? And then you just let that stylist go and do its work, because it has access to everything you've only got access to a few shops from your past. It is far too limited. It is far too detailed. You are far too stuck in the past, and you are not going to create change and you are not tapping into the expansiveness of this experience and all that is available to you when you are manifesting. And it could just be semantics, and it could just be that that whole manifesting thing has been hijacked, and so now I don't love the word, but maybe it was never meant to be like that. Maybe it is a word that does mean allowing, but I just prefer the allowing, and I prefer to focus on that instead. You're welcome, Jen. Okay, if there's no questions, I do want to remind you the cart is now open for Unbound. So Unbound is a program for women. Now, I've had people say, do you only work with women? No, I work with both men and women. I'm going to do a whole video on it. I'm not going to go into too much detail here. I do work with both. However, when I do a group program, from experience, most women do not open up fully when the group is mixed, and most men do not open up fully when the group is mixed. So, in full kind of regard and respect to the members of the group, whilst that tends to be how many of us are, I keep that as women. You can do a connection walk with me as a man. You can do a clarity session. You can do follow-up sessions. You can do create new outcomes. As you can do all of it. But when I do a program, it is aimed for women. So this is aimed for women. We start on May the 14th, and it is very much this kind of setup, Q&A, guided meditation, journaling prompts where you will be led to your own answers very specifically for you. And we are going to look at 4 programs, 4 common popular programs that we get taught when we arrive here that are inverted. So what does inverted mean? It means there is within that topic, there is power, and then it's been inverted and taught to you in a way where it loses its substance, where it loses its power. It's like that manifesting. It's like, okay, so if I take the fact that we are amazing creative beings and I make it into, hey, go and manifest this, and you spend your whole entire life on it, you're actually, while you're thinking you're doing the thing that makes you really powerful, you're actually feeling more and more powerless, and you're actually in a way being kept from your power. It's also that these 4 programs are just repeated from generation to generation, and the belief of the truth in it is handed down, handed down, handed down. It is messaged to us subtly and not so subtly through programs and through society, but also our family. So the 4, am I going to remember them? Let me see. It is emotions as weakness. That is the first one we're going to look at. Emotions as weakness is not true, and yet we are messaged it from the minute we arrive. Victim, the whole victim mind frame. We are really going to look at that. How is it enforced to us that we are victims? Victims to circumstance, victims to life, victims to all sorts, victims to our body, all sorts of like aspects of that. Selflessness and martyrdom are a big one for women. How much is it reinforced for us to martyr ourselves, like that there's some piousness in being a martyr and putting yourself last and putting your family first, and that selflessness is what we really do it for the group, do it for, we're really going to have a look at that. And then the external healer savior program, which is a massive one. We're really going to look at how that's been taught to us, how that is messaged from the time we are tiny children in fairy tales and in religion and in all sorts of programming, and how that still plays out today. We're seeing that one very powerfully. And then how it's playing out in you. I'm going to lead you through the questions that you're really going to see. Where is that still active? Where is that active in me? And where is it actually stopping me? Where am I maybe thinking I don't believe this, but kind of really living as though it is a truth? We're going to do it in 4 weeks on a Saturday morning, starting on May the 14th, 8:30 a.m. till 10 on Zoom. And we're going to do it over 4 Saturdays, and you'll get the recordings, of course, if you sign up and you can't make it live. I don't think I missed anything out on those 4. So yes, card is open today. you can already sign up on Instagram, or you can email me and I will send you the link if you want to join us. So I would love to have many of you join. I'm very excited about it. It has come through in the most beautiful ways. It's allowed. It was allowed. It was allowed. I allowed it to come, and it came. And then it always comes with detail anyway, because it will come with a little instruction manual on how to create it. It will do that. It's not about, you're not creating a picture with absolutely no detail, but just be mindful of who's in control of the detail. Because if it's ego, you are most likely staying stuck in a box, in like locked in, and you are most likely doing that, bringing the past to the present and walking through it again. All right. So enough about the program. I will give you more information on that if you would like it. So much of what you spoke about resonated today. Great chat today. Okay. Pleasure, everybody. I'm so glad you were here for it. I love this topic. It's a big one. I was a bit mindful at the start. I was a bit quiet for a number of years about it because I thought people get really triggered by it. Some people are very attached to it. Some people have created whole careers on teaching you how to manifest. And I'm not saying that they're not good people. I'm not saying anything about those people. I'm not even saying, there's no ill intention with the vast majority of them, I'm sure. I would just like to invite you to kind of do a more grown up version of it that is beyond the ego and doesn't involve the ego, and start to play around with the concept of allowing. And I would love to know how you go. And I will, of course, save this. So I'd love you to share it, like it, share it, comment if you watch the replay and you get something from it you didn't get first time round. And I will see you next Monday. And I will do a live at some point this week on Instagram talking more about Unbound if you want more information. All right, everybody, much love. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday. And remember, you set the tone, so set it intentionally. I really want you to start to feel into the fact that setting the tone, like you literally, as you walk and as you step, you are literally sending out a vibration, and that you are walking in your own intention and your own vibration. So make sure you do that consciously. All right. Okay, everyone. Much love. Bye.